What's up, world? It is a beautiful Tuesday afternoon here in Northeast Ohio, and you are watching the Ysn Power Hour, proudly presented by our friends over at the Toyota of Warren dealership. Make sure if you're in the uh, mood, or if you're in the, I guess, the car buying business or leasing business. If you're in that field, you need to visit our friends over at Toyota of Warren. Tell them YSN sent you. We'd be grateful for that. Obviously, we're grateful for everything that Tino and the entire crew do over there for us. Naturally, here at YSN, and of course, sponsoring this show, making it all possible for you. We got a great show. Great show for you. A couple interviews that we taped a little bit earlier today. Coach Scrinjar, Mike Scrinjar from the Southern Local Lady Indians is going to join us here momentarily. And then right after that is going to be what I consider possibly the greatest basketball player of this generation. Ladies and gentlemen, Ashley Schroeds, 2,000-point scorer, all-time leading scorer in Columbiana County, girls or boys, as I understand, is going to join the show. We'll talk to Ashley. And as good of a basketball player as she is, she's 10 times better of an individual. So I can't wait to kind of showcase that and let the world know that she's more than just a 2,000-point scorer. So without further ado, I'm going to step aside, do some interviews, and showcase some interviews that we had earlier today. Great interviews. A really nice one with Coach Scrinjar here. So without further ado, here we go. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful time for Coach's Corner here on this, very early February in 2024. And if you've had any recollection of basketball over the last 4 years, there's a couple of names that you probably know about. Maybe you don't. Maybe this is one of the most under the radar stories we will ever tell here at YSN of one of the best players, I think, one of the greatest of all time to ever walk or run up a gym floor. So at this time, we're going to bring in, I think, one of the most, I don't want to say, I want to make sure I get the right word, the biggest splash coach I think I've ever had the opportunity to sit with, to talk with. One of the most passionate coaches, certainly. At this time, we bring in Southern Locals Coach Mike Scrinjar. Coach, how are you, buddy?
My goodness, you tear me up with the statements about Ashley Schroeds, just knowing every second that's been put into her journey, where she's come from, and so that was an outstanding intro, DJ. I appreciate the time and blessed to be here. This is an opportunity that, like you had said earlier, it's under the radar. Ashley Schroeds, at 5'4", sometimes does not get the recognition that she deserves. If you've seen her play live, or had the blessing that I've had to be able to coach her and see her put in her investment. It's been a special journey. So I appreciate that. That was a great intro. Outstanding. You can't do any better than that.
Let's start wide and then we'll narrow it down. I mean, you've been the coach for the girls program for 6 years, you said. So when you look at how the program has its up and every program has its ups and downs. How do you feel about the state of the program, when you started as opposed to where it is right now?
One of the biggest things is when we started, Southern Local had needed a head coach, and the superintendent asked me if I was interested, and I thought about it. I've been there my entire life, so other than going away after college, and I was like, yeah, definitely get back into it. We had a nice little group of athletes that first year I started. We had 14 wins, did some nice things throughout the year, and had a little bit of success. Had some great leaders, but I got to just telling our ladies last night, even though we had a great team, we had 14 wins. The cream of the crop, the Columbiana, back in the day when they had their players that were just absolutely dominant, and there was no running clock, and there was an opportunity for them to put 100 points on us, even though we had a team that I thought was excellent. They were putting 100 points on us. And you were walking into the locker room, and you're seeing the upset nature of the players, and knowing what you had to do and to improve the program, and to let them know that this is, they're laying the foundation here, and this is why we had to put the investment in, and know that, hey, we've had success throughout the year, but we're not where we need to be at. So that never leaves me, and I don't have any problem ever, getting beat like that, because that just means that I got to coach better. I got to prep better. I got to, take what talent we have at Southern Local, and I got to make that better. It's my job. So I just use that as incentive. So where we at right now, we talked last night at senior night, that's not happening anymore. And we've put up, a great group of young ladies who now know what character is all about, how to, get through adversity, how to, invest, how to take constructive criticism, how to be pushed to the limit, expectations super high, and then respond to that. And that's the culture and the environment that we're creating. It's not, I don't ever think it's, it's normal. I think we're orthodox because in today's society, I feel like, if you push a little bit too hard, you're going to upset and hurt a lot of feelings, but you don't become something great. And this is just my belief. And, if you look at any great story, you don't become something great unless you put through the fire, that you're sharpened day in, day out. Your grind, the stone is constantly being, sculpted out. That's just how I believe and how I was raised by my parents. My parents did that to me. And then I went and had a chance to go out and play some sports, not saying that I was playing professional sports, but I knew what it was like to have to, have other people around me where you either get better or you don't play. And that's never gone away from me. And we try to build that into our program, and it's created some great positive vibes. And it's also, it's caused some, waves, and there's nothing wrong with that, because anytime you do something great, you're going to have people that are going to enjoy what you're doing. You're going to have people that are not big fans, and you got to understand that. So, and that's competitive sports. So I believe in that.
I love that answer. I mean, it does not get better than that. For you, you can be a polarizing figure, and it's not just from when you were coaching. You've done this for a long time. I remember we were back in school. You were a polarizing athlete. So what is it about just not kind of backing down, just being yourself? I mean, you don't dress like any of the other coaches. You don't coach like any of the other coaches. What has been the resounding, I guess, what do people enjoy about it? What is the biggest knock? What do you have to battle in your everyday life when it comes to people saying, well, I like that coach, I love that coach, or man, I really don't want to, be under Coach Scrinjar?
Right. And that's the love-hate relationship. And it's a blessing. I'm an educator, and, throughout my journey, and I think working with the students that I work with and just trying to find greatness inside them, I'm a believer that there's greatness in everyone. Everyone's unique in their own way. I was a believer, and I was taught by some great professors at Bethany College that everybody has an opportunity to learn. Everyone can learn something, and everyone can achieve something. And that's never, gone away from me. And it's allowed me to really, become who I am and be stronger in who I am. But, I'd always felt like I beat to a different drum. And I cannot help it. That's who I am. I don't, purposely do it. There's just something about me inside of me that just, that's how I am. I want to always, I've always wanted to be like something that's, that stands out in a sense of like, okay, be yourself, be what's inside of you, and go out there and I'm a big dreamer. I love history. I embrace people like, even, like Michael Jordan is one of my biggest heroes, but someone like Dennis Rodman, I was inspired by him, and I know that he's been controversial throughout his entire career, but just his story, I just remember for some reason I was, drawn to someone like Mike Tyson, and those kind of stories and the success in that and how they got there. And, when I read into those kind of stories, I relate to that a lot and who I am on the inside. And I'm a colorful individual who I believe that, and I feel like I have all the different colors to be able to just embrace my personality. And I kind of bring that to people. And again, sometimes that's just who I am. And then I really have, I was raised by parents who built that confidence inside of me. They raised me tough. I always call it tough love, love tough. And when, and I really say my blessings, I know that they created a platform and a foundation for me to be who I am. And that allowed me to have the courage to be able to walk into the room and say, this is who I am. I'm a believer in it. Some people may not like it, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I have to be truthful to who I am on the inside. And that's just me being me. And, I love it. And it just continues to build me up inside. I got this internal fire, DJ, that just blazes, and I can't, and I tell my ladies all the time, I cannot, all I can do is channel that. I can't change that. And I apologize a lot to them. And it really, I don't necessarily need to apologize, but I just let them know that, hey, you're getting someone that doesn't change, his personality. Even my two seniors last night, Josie Stanley and Ashley Schroeds have been with me for 4 years. And in 4 years, we've been through some great emotions, both, last night, and I have no problem saying these kind of things. Last night, just walking in and seeing Josie and I just didn't see that great big smile on her face, and it just lit a fire inside me. It's like, yeah, I mean, this is going to be a great night. This is something we want to be. We've been waiting for this forever. 4 years and talking about it. She didn't have it, but she was in her dark place. And after the game, she told me, because we talked about all these different little things, mental stuff. She was in her dark place and ready to go, and I didn't realize that, but I was already on her case. So right after the bat, she set up her senior thing. I was like, "What's wrong? What's going on today? I mean, fire up. This is a great day." To the point where, Ashley's in the game last night, and I have no problem saying this too. She looked at me and said, "Why are you being such a jerk?" But it's part of, I can't change that, who I am. And they respond to it. I know that they know I care about them, but I have this level of like striving for perfection all the time and just excellence. And I just dream big. And if there's something we can accomplish, I just don't stop that. So I'm just relentless in that nature. And I've always been that way. Everyone's told me no, DJ, and I tried it. My mom's been trying to tell me that no for a long time. Once I got that little bit of a maybe, I knew that, hey, we're going to find a way to get this done. And that's just been who I've been. And, I've kind of carried that with me. But I've been blessed to have great people to kind of support who I am. And that means a lot too. So when I think about, life and, the people that care about you and love you, and that just gives you strength. And I tell our ladies all the time, like, hey, you're not going to make the world completely happy, but just when you get down, just go ahead and think about the people that truly care about you, and that'll fill you up with strength. So it's a battle every day, and we just try to teach that with our and through our culture, and that's just who I am. You can't change that, and I love it. But it's really, I'm genuine in that way.
I love it, man. And listen, when you're in high school, especially when we went, there was no social media, there was no way to connect. It was you hang out in the parking lot, and you do your business on the field or on the court. You, my friend, were one of the most hated individuals in all of Columbiana County because you were the exact same way. You haven't changed at all, except for the maturity side of things. So but I really can tell you now, what 18, 20 years later, that I admire that. I admire the fact that you always burned hot a little bit. And as a guy that's just a kid from East Palestine and a guy that's just a kid from Salineville, I respect the hell out of that. And the fact that you are making it your life's work to make sure that Southern Local is put on the map and people are identifying Southern Local athletes and student athletes and administration in the school. So my question for you is, I understand the undertaking that it was to put kind of an entire village on my back and to say, hey, look, I'm the face. This is the business. This is what we're going to do. For you to be that coach, to go back, there are challenges when people know the skeletons that are in your closet, when people know who you were, they don't necessarily identify who you are now. What are some of the challenges that you faced going into coaching in your hometown, and why has it been such a passion project for you to put Southern Local on the map in more than one sport?
You want to think about all the different battles, and you said it a little bit earlier. Now you're from East Palestine, and you're doing your work, and I appreciate that. Just the littlest thing in the world to be able to impact another person's life, that's inspiring, and that's a life's work to make an impact on this world. And some of the little things that you're doing, but they're not little things, but they are little things, and those things add up, and that makes someone. I admire that out of you as well. For the same thing with East Palestine and just what you're doing to glorify other people's lives. I believe in that. With me, you said a little earlier, it was hard for me to drive through Wellsville, East Palestine, Lisbon, Columbiana. I don't know what small town areas, I feel comfortable going to Lisbon. All right. Because, the battles that we had, in the sports, I've been raised, through a sports family. My dad was my coach. My mom's one of my biggest supporters. So, and you take a lot of pride in that. And, I had to, you'd learn as the maturity is, okay, Lisbon put 75 on a football field and running back punts on us. And I had done some things in high school where, not made the biggest play, maybe, I got fumbled a big play in United. We lost the game for that. Those things never leave me. And I just file them away inside my brain. Dallas Saunders told me at one time, and just through the different journeys of life, and I know he's a Western Reserve, but what a great friend. He said to me, he got a lot of things he's filed away. So as maturity, he's like, okay, I'm going to keep filing these things away to the point where they're my fuel for how I operate. But the challenges of being at Southern Local and coming back here, You've been there forever. They, like you say, the people are going to either, embrace that and say that and love that. And or the people say, man, we're tired of, seeing him all the time and, his antics and who he is. And, and there's, to me, my main focus is to continue to make like the impact that you're making day in, day out. And that's what keeps me focused. The people that I know that I'm doing whatever I can for. And then, honoring my blessings. I've been put on a platform and a foundation by my parents and the things that I've been blessed and what I believe in and the powers above to be able to do the things I'm able to do. I don't need to make a lot of money doing it, but with the value of my life and the precious moments that I've had here in life, I want to be able to use them to the point where, on my back right now is, players like Marcus Walter. He says, I just take value in such a little thing. Marcus Walters was a player I coached that, there's some things that's happened throughout my journey that just inspire me. So with his, passing, he worked 4 years, to be, something, it's very special in football and, do all the little things. And we continue to put him in offensive line, but he wanted to be a wide receiver. He finally was one of his goals to make it to the Penahia game and an all-star. And, to not make it there on his last practice and be in the tragic, incident that he was in. And then just know that, okay, I'm working for a bigger purpose. And if I have an opportunity to do something, I'm going to leave. Like I tell Josie all the time, I'm not leaving any stone unturned. I'm going to use my vessel and what life I have right here to just give back as much as I can. That's what keeps me motivated, through the, tough times. And I keep understanding as I get older, not everybody, I can't please everybody and it's not going to happen. And that's, as a younger coach, you try to do that. You're trying to inner work like, okay, I got to make this person happen. And finally, it through your journeys, you learn that, hey, this is how it's going to have to be. And you're going to have to really cling into the people that, that you're going to impact and do the best that you can. And also be able to, and sometimes do my best to reason. I'm a fiery individual. And those are ways that I can get better too, to step back every night. I reflect and I come back in and, I let my players know that I've reflected on this and I've, take a lot of ownership in things. And it's not always, I don't put the blame on other people. I try to reflect back, but that's called maturity because as a younger coach, I had a lot to learn. Because I feel like sometimes like I was a young Draymond Green. I can relate to him. Like he's crazy, out of control sometimes, but my gosh, I feel it inside of me. And then you got to take a step back and reflect. And that's through your growing experiences and you're handed that stuff throughout life.
I agree that in every capacity. I agree. So I got to ask you one more question about your coaching style, some of the quirkiness that you have kind of up your sleeve or up your pant leg, so to speak.
All right.
In the loafers. You know where I'm going.
Yes, sir.
So you've done so much and I'm just going to like shine a light on a couple. So the suits, your suit game is strong, my friend. And you come in, you're never really wearing the suits, but you always have it like tucked away. You're always looking on point. Talk to me about the suits. And then I want to know, cause you've done a lot, there's been a lot of quirkiness through the years. What is the one thing that you've even kind of questioned yourself on? Hey, what should I really be doing this? Is this like over the line or is this something that I like? Cause I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, football, you lift up the pylon and you put dirt from Southern Local underneath the pylon. Is that accurate?
I was in a journey then. I don't know what I was doing was, okay. So you're absolutely right, DJ. Hey, and there are a lot of great things there. One of my great, he's on, and everything circles around. He's on staff with me right now. Chris Ingledew is one of our assistant coaches, a father to one of our players. When I was, and somehow we clung together and, I believed in, we're Indians and I wanted to embrace that. So he gave me, and this is a true story. He gave me an Indian pouch. All right. And in that Indian pouch had some other like little things and like maybe a bear claw and stuff like that. All this stuff. I was like, man, I love this. It's like, really embrace this. My dad's big on being Croatian. So, and, I don't know. I was telling students when I was in 5th grade, when I was teaching, they said, Mr. Cringer, why are you growing your hair out? I was like, well, I'm Native American. I'm Croatian. My dad would be mad at me if I said I was Native American. But I was like, hey, I want to embrace what it's like to be an Indian. So I'm going to grow my hair out. And it was just as a journey. And so I would take that pouch and this might've pushed the limit. At a certain time on the clock, DJ, I would go to every corner and then to the pylon. I do a little like a seance. I take a little bit of dirt and I'd shove it from every field into that pouch. And and then I would wear that pouch around. And then, I remember the referees, like, what they would ask me, like, what is in the pouch, coach? I mean, you obviously wound up, but we don't know what's in that pouch. But it was a little bit of dirt, a little bit of grass from every corner of every field. And I know it's like, man, you probably shouldn't be going on the other sideline of the other team, but I would do a little jog, and I don't know. And then I caught a picture of myself and Coach X-Line, someone who I love to dear, and he's at Southern Local. And I caught a picture of us when I was wearing that pouch in a suit with snakeskin boots, the Python snakeskin boots at our awards banquet for his junior year. And I had on that pouch and a bunch of Indian gear. And I was like, when I look back, I'm like, my God, what was I doing? I was in a suit, Python skin boots with and I got that picture with myself and Coach X-Line. We took a picture, and I was proud of that. Like, that was me. I was like, this is who I am. I walked around school with like boots on, stuff like that. So that's part of it. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it just clicks in. I mean, I know, I take, like they said, my family says I take way too much sentimental value to everything. And I'm just who I am. I cannot change that. Like, everything, it brings a certain memory connection. It's just the way my brain operates and works. And I've had to really understand that in order to be, I believe, to be successful in life, to be able to function, the way that I need to function, because, I normally don't, function like something like a normal human being. I think somebody said something about Lamar, about being an alien sometimes, and that kind of stuff. Like, man, like, wow, like, you think about that. I think it was in a football game. I don't know what his name. There was the guy that's from Cincinnati Bengals that does all the broadcasting. He said Lamar looked like like an alien from another. And I thought, my gosh, sometimes I think that as well. Like, I don't know. I was a little.
Are you an alien? Are you?
Yeah.
Are we breaking news right now? You're an alien?
No, man. But they said that about Lamar, and he's doing things that are crazy. And I love that about him. That's why I can like cling to him, because he just. I know he's got to win a playoff game, but the young man, he does it his way, and I love that he did it this year, and I believed in him, and I was like, man, I believe in him. He did without an agent, and everybody's against him, man. They were all against him. And I was right there with him. I was like, hey, I believe in that, man. You follow that because you take a risk. You take those risks, and you believe in yourself so much. And he talks a lot about his mother, and those kind of things I relate to. Like, my mother filled me up, not a lot of times with love, with just that, that I'm going to be the best version of who I am. And my mom instilled that in me. And she was mean about it, and I love her, and she knows that, but she made me who I was. So did my dad. Those are things that I can relate to. So I don't know. I guess that gives me the courage to run around the football field at a certain time when all the people on the other stands are like, what are you doing? Why are you on our sideline? And I don't know. I was just getting the dirt from each corner and saying a little bit of like a little prayer, like, hey, let's get after it today. Thank you for this moment.
I love it, dude. I love it. There's only one, man. But you're coaching somebody right now who could be described as an alien, could be described as a one of one, and a young lady who I've considered the greatest of all time. And she's done it so quietly down in Salineville under your tutelage. A 2,000-point scorer, the all-time record holder for 3 points for Southern Local for your program, the all-time leading scorer in Columbiana County history. When you think of Ashley Schroeds as a coach, as someone who has mentored her for the last 4 years, what's the first thing that you think of when you think of Ashley?
I use this word way too much with her, but it is the absolute word for her. My dad just used it this morning before he went back to North Carolina. It was just relentless. She is more relentless than me. And I'm not saying I was a great athlete, to her standard. And she's very humble, but she has no problem pointing out that she's a better basketball player than me. And I have no problem with that because, she has the results, whatever. She might be the nicest person you could ever possibly meet. She would, do anything for you. A caring individual, but she is inside of her is an ultimate competitor that is unbelievable. It's an innate, blessing that she has. She's absolutely relentless, and her work ethic, her ability to zone in and laser focus. I saw that the first time I saw her play competitive high school volleyball. I was like, my gosh, this girl's got it. She was, cheering her teammates on. She was doing the little things that I knew that there could be success out of there. And, and then I just, we talked a little bit throughout the summer, and I knew that she was a great ball player in junior high. And, I think she was dreaming big and wanting to play at the next level. And I said, well, what do you want to accomplish here? And she was like, I want to be the best ever. And you can't tell somebody who's got my personality, like, hey, I'm like, let's go. Like, let's get after it. Let's do everything we possibly can to make that happen. And I've been tough, in the sense of like, there may be days where she might, have something where she's got planned. And I'm like, listen, we've got to get our shots in. We've got to get our strength training in. And if it's leaving 15 minutes early, she knows that sometimes that I'm a little bit upset, but I'm not upset, but I know that, hey, that 15 minutes, we could use that 15 minutes to do something, to work on your and ones, to work on your 3-pointers, to work on your strength training, to get yourself in great conditioning so you're mentally strong enough to handle any bit of adversity. And then continue to be the underdog. And that underdog quality, is outstanding for her because, you hear things all the time about people, saying, okay, you can't do this. And I'm a big believer in that. Your underdog mentality, you can build something off of that. So, hey, you hear, oh, Ashley just scores a bunch of layups. Well, that infuriates me because I know the work that she goes into every day when she was a freshman and the things that she was doing to improve her game. The young lady has 500, close to 600 steals. The reason she's scoring layups is because she's got an innate ability to go get the basketball wherever it's at. It's a theft. So, I take that personal, and then next thing you know, she's like, hey, well, then now, let's go out and actually shoot a bunch of threes. Let's get at it. You shoot a bunch of threes. So her first game she ever played in Connaughton Valley, in her first opening game, she hit like 4 threes. I'm like, there's results. I think she is special. So then, it's like, hey, all it is right-hand layup, and she's a slasher, Euro step. I was like, well, then actually, they say you can't use your left. So then it was like, bam, she was like, I'm using my left. She's scoring with her left, hitting 3-pointers. And then the next thing you know is like, hey, now they're shutting you down your slash, you're shutting down your 3-pointer, hit your mid-range, make it unbelievable. And Josie Stanley's been a huge help with her making that mid-range because now she's coming off screens, hitting mid-range, and she's coming down the floor. If you take away her Euro step, take away her 3-point, she hit the mid-range. So those are all her qualities. She is unbelievable and under the radar in the sense of, I was just looking on Max Preps and I'm going to upload it. But right now she's, at 508 points, she's in Division 4. And we don't even think about this. Like we just think about we're so like incremental in our mountains that we're trying to conquer. The bigger picture is like, and I'm not a big social media person. So that's probably, just the way it is. And how everybody gets on social media and puts out their name. Well, I looked on Max Preps right now. Ashley's, at 508, which is the top in Division 4. And I just got a hold of her this morning and said, Ashley, you're on Max Preps, and I don't know if the rest of the stats are in there for other people, but you're one of the top scorers in Division 4 in the state of Ohio. And at 5'4", it's not just your ability to score, it's your ability to rebound. You're almost 1,000-point rebounder. But that's the day in, day out results that she gets through her strength training, her ability to improve her vertical. It's been a constant. We did John Morant workouts. Like we would try to find anything throughout the summer. And it's a credit to her parents and the support system that she has at home because, no lie, DJ, they would sit out there and wait for her. And I sometimes go over one of my bad things is sometimes I go over a little bit of time. So they'd be sitting out there 20, 30 minutes and I feel bad, but we had to get our work in. And she would be out there getting that time in her. When she talks about being 4 hours into the gym after practice, that's no lie. So a lot of people was at Southern, it's like, hey, that's way too much time. And I kept saying to this young lady, it doesn't matter that it's way too much time. That's what she wants to do. No one's forcing her. She wants to be that. And she was putting that kind of time in because she knew what she wanted to achieve. She's that subtle of an underdog. It's unreal. I mean, and you talk to her, you're going to get a chance to talk to her. She's the nicest person in the world, but she's got some type of ultimate competitor. It's unreal. And her mom kind of says it all the time. She's like a golden retriever. And I'm not a big dog guy, but I don't know, but I guess they go forever. And her relentless nature, and she'll chase down. She was doing it as a freshman, chasing down every rebound and then an opportunity to score again. So when she clicks in, she's absolutely amazing, man. She's flying underneath the radar in a lot of sense because of her height and maybe because she's not, that's just, I don't know. Maybe she doesn't, I don't know anything about social media and how they promote, athletes now. Maybe that's my fault and I get a little about that. But DJ, that's why I take this as an opportunity just to be able to say what she can do. She's going to make any program at the next level an incredible team. She's one of the best teammates and support, but she will also compete and drive in that weight room, drive in the shot. She's any coach's dream player. So at what she's done, she's now, she's going to be in the top 31 in the state of Ohio as a scorer at 5'4" from Little Southern Local. And it's not, she had her first 1,000 points, DJ, as a sophomore. And she's been averaging, she's got 25.5 right now, which is one of the top, in the state of Ohio in all divisions. And we don't, I don't even like using those stats. I was like, we're just chopping away, and we talk all our time. It's just investment. Let's get to the results. Let's get to the results. And then, I think the results kind of take care of themselves, because you look at the bigger picture now and her stats and the way she's achieved, it's unbelievable. And she wants to break every record. She wants to break the assist records, but she wanted to be the best. And to me, relentless is the absolute best word. We call her relentless scorer. She's, a lot of coaches have credited her that she's unstoppable, and she loves, when they say that, because it's true. You're not gonna stop her. She's just a relentless individual, and she's truly, truly blessed. One of the best. And I always say all the time, DJ, if you look at someone like a Michael Jordan, someone who's had like a Kobe Bryant, she has the okay, I'm going to fix this for 2 hours in the gym and take care of that. She has that Kobe Bryant innate ability. The Mike Tyson ability you got to see her strength train. But she does that prior to a volleyball game and then go out there and spike the volleyball. And I know that kind of makes people a little bit uneasy. Like, why is Ashley Schroeds right before a volleyball game, her sectional championship, in there, get some deadlifts in? Because she's not like everybody else. She's completely built different. And I was blessed, DJ. I was blessed enough to be a part of her journey. And that's why I told my mom and dad, like, listen, I'm going to give whatever I can for this young lady, because you don't get to coach someone like this all the time that is going to give you every bit that you ask for, in the sense of like, let's be there. And her parents have supported that. So she's got the best support system at home. And she's DJ, the kids that were saying things last night on our team about her, and parents saying things, but if you really know Ashley Schroeds, you would be proud to have anybody around her. Like, my niece, wants to be like her. That's a powerful thing. She spoke in front of the entire gym last night about how she wants to be like Ashley Schroeds, and then continue to carry on some of the legacy. And but the young lady, I wish her the best in what she chooses to do. But I know that I want to see her, someone take an opportunity on her. And I tell her all the time, like that Josh Allen went to so many different schools, like someone will definitely embrace who she is. She will make any program at the next level something very, very special, because she's got so much potential to keep improving.
Coach, we can't thank you enough for the time today. I'm going to bring you back because, number one, this was awesome, entertaining, informative, and I love the way that you shine a light on all your athletes. So thank you so much for taking some time for us today. We're looking forward to speaking to Ashley in a few minutes.
DJ, I admire what you do. And I told my parents, like, when I was telling them about this interview, is the people like you that take another person's life and glorify that. That's a special blessing. So, and I take pride in that, because I'm an educator, and, everyone has an opportunity to give something, and you shine light on people. And so you are absolutely a blessing to this world. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Brother. Appreciate you.
Keep doing what you're doing. We'll talk soon.
You got it, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
It is player profile time here on YSN. DJ Yoakley with you, and I am super honored and just absolutely tickled pink to the fact that this young lady, our next guest, is going to join us, who, at least here on YSN, is widely considered one of, if not the greatest of all time to ever do it on the basketball court. We are going to bring in the all-time leading scorer in Columbiana County on the basketball court, a 2,000-point scorer in her career, and the all-time record holder for 3 points in the Southern Locals program history. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we bring in the GOAT, Ashley Schroeds. Ash, what's up?
Not too much. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. It's my honor. I mean, when we're talking about someone who's done that sport, basketball, a sport that, so many have played before you, so many will play after you, but very few will do it as well as you've done it over your 4 years, and you're not done yet. What is it
Right.
like to have that shine? I mean, I know when you started as a freshman, you knew you were special. You felt like you could be something special. You put your time into it, your efforts, your resources. For you to know that you've checked the box on nearly everything, what does that feel like?
It feels really good to kind of leave no stone unturned. You kind of did everything you could possibly do to be the greatest of all time in this area. So it feels really good. And just to have people like looking up to you. I had a junior high boy today. He got a hold of me and he told me that he really looks up to me and he wants to be like me one day. So it feels good whenever you can kind of like make both boys and girls look at you and want to be like you. So it feels good to have that.
I think it's really incredible from a standpoint of being a role model, right? That you've embraced that. And you talk about not just girls, but boys coming up to you saying, hey, I want to be like you when I get older, at the ripe old age of what, 17, 18 years old. And that's pretty special. But I heard a story
Yeah.
the other day about a group of girls that have started to wear headbands around because Ashley Schroeds wears the headband. It's a signature look. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of you until this day without a headband. So for you to see that, to hear that around town, and not just in your community, but in others, that people want to be like you. I mean, it's the Michael Jordan effect. How does that make you feel?
Right. That feels awesome to me because I never thought it'd get that way. I was just like growing up, I just wanted to play basketball and be good at it. I never thought I would get to this point and to just like influence the younger kids to want to be like me. That feels really special. So it feels good.
I think it's incredible because it's not just the choices that you're making on the basketball floor, but the choices that you're making, when you're at home, when you're doing your homework, when you're doing, what you're doing in the classroom, what you're doing in your community, that people want to emulate, because nobody just wants to be a basketball player. They're not saying we just want to be Ashley Schroeds on the floor. They want to be you off the floor as well. How hard has it been for you to be able to balance that, you know, being great on the floor, but being great in other aspects of your life as well?
Yeah, it's been a challenge. It's been doable. Like this past week, I had 10 college assignments to get done on top of playing 3 games and traveling to those games. And I've been able to manage it. I've been scoring 30 points in like each of those games. So it's kind of been a challenging week, but at the same time, you're able to do it. You just got to find time to focus on school and then also balance it out with practices and games. So it's doable, but it's a lot of work for sure. You got to be focused and driven to do it.
Where did you get that focus, that drive that you just talked about? I mean, is it something that you had to work on, that you had to tweak and kind of build up yourself, or is that something that you had the whole time? Maybe something your parents gave you?
Yeah, I think it's something my parents definitely gave me. My parents, they raised me to be kind of a confident young lady. My dad, he always was hard on me when we were younger. We played basketball. He'd be the first one to knock me down in football. So it feels good kind of having your parents instill that. I mean, my mom, I look up to her so much because she's kind of the strongest lady I know. Like she's not afraid. She's quiet, but she's not afraid to like say how it is and stand up and stick up for herself. So I kind of like look up to them and I want to be like them. And then coach, he's kind of like molded me into having like more of a focus on certain things. Like the focus I have for basketball, I had it my freshman year, but it's kind of gotten better over time because he's kind of like showed me what it's like to like focus on one thing at a time. So those 3 people, they really helped me with that focusing part.
I'm really interested because coach talked about your stature. He said 5'4". Nobody wants to take a chance on her at the college level because she's 5'4". You right now lead the points category in Division 4. We were just told, with over
Yeah.
500 points, something that they kept from you, because they just wanted you to go and do your thing. For you, where do you want to go? I mean, you don't have to name colleges, but where can you see yourself playing? Do you want to play? I guess is the next question. And then why do you want to continue your
Yeah.
career after knowing what you've done in high school, and I'm sure ambitions that you want to be like that in whatever career or role that you end up in as your life continues?
Yeah, I definitely want to go somewhere and play at the next level. I'm kind of looking to go somewhere like Division 2. I really want to go just so it'll be a little bit cheaper and hopefully to get some of it paid for. But even Division 3, if it's close to home, I will probably go to it. But I definitely want to focus on my career. I want to be a veterinarian, so the pre-vet or a biology major, something of that sorts I want to do. And just getting that done and then be able to play basketball on the side would be a lot of fun for me.
All right, so I got to ask, the competitor that you are, how do you go from a competitive, basketball, volleyball, multi-sport athlete world, and it's Southern local versus the world, to being a veterinarian where you're not, the only thing you're competing against is trying to bring animals back?
I know, it's crazy, but it's something I've been passionate about since I was like 8 years old. I got my first rabbit and then I just fell in love with animals ever since then. And I just want to do anything I can to like help them out in any way. So it's just something I've always wanted to do.
For you, when you were growing up, a young athlete, who did you look up to and why?
I probably looked up to my mom the most. She always said that she played basketball and volleyball, and she would tell stories about her coaches and how they helped her out. And just the athlete she was, she told me that she got like an athletic scholarship to Ohio State, not to play, but just some money to go there. And I just kind of like looked up to her in that aspect. And I was like, well, maybe I want to get some money too to go play somewhere for athletics. And then it just kind of turned into, I don't know, working towards it every day to be the best at it. I just kind of went crazy over it.
I mean, it's crazy to some, but in order to do some of the things that you've done, you kind of have that kind of had to have that crazy side to you, right?
Yeah,
If you want to be successful,
right.
you got to go longer and further than anybody else. So what are what are some of the things that you've done that you're like, you look back and you're like, okay, maybe that was a little much?
Well, me and coach, we did a lot of workouts through the summer, and I want to say it was sophomore year. We did a lot of like high intensity workouts. We would push the sled like 10 down and backs, and then we do like 500 box jumps, but it was all in like a circuit. So it was like we do 20 box jumps, go push the sled down and back, go do 20 more box jumps until we got to 500. And those were kind of like super brutal workouts that it was kind of like, why did we even do that? But now it got us to this point. So I guess it worked. But yeah, that's something that I was just like, that was a little brutal.
I mean, you've basically cleaned house on every record that Southern Local owns. You've dipped into other county records, things of that nature, and naturally you scored 2,000 points in what I think is an age that it's tough enough to score 1,000, and you doubled that up, young lady. What do you want? I mean, if you had to think and write your own legacy and how people would remember you as you're 4 years through Southern Local as a Lady Indian, what do you want people to most remember about you and what you left behind?
Probably that I became the greatest basketball player that ever came through Southern Local, but I also carried the best attitude through it all. I'm probably one of the nicest persons anybody will ever meet. So just having that, like both sides to that, the kindness factor and being super athletic, I think that's something I want people to remember me by. Not that I was a selfish person that just wanted to score points. I could do it all and be a great teammate as well.
I'm really interested because there's a lot of people that'll sit and say, well, she just scored a lot of points, like you just said, but you keep that
Yeah.
smile and you talk about yourself being an incredibly nice person, which you are, but there's got to be a chip on that shoulder, right? And I've heard stories
Yeah.
about people saying that, well, Ashley can't go left. So you work in the gym for 2 hours on going left and you can't shoot threes. So you come out and you shoot all the threes and you break the record for being the all-time leading three ball specialist in Southern Local history. Where does that chip on your shoulder lie, and how do you balance it between being a really nice person, which you are, and being a
Yeah.
person like that has that Mamba mentality?
Yeah, I definitely keep it like in the back of my head. Just every day I kind of like repeat the things that like people said I couldn't do. I don't go around talking about it, spreading it around school or anywhere saying like, hey, this person said I couldn't do this. I just keep it in the back of my head and I just work on it every day to get better at it and then prove them wrong. So it's kind of like a silent stab. that I give
A
back to
silent
them.
assassin is what it is. I love it.
Yeah.
For you, what is left? I mean, you've got, well, about what, 3 months, 3.5 months left of your career as a, a senior. What's left for you to
Right.
do that you want to accomplish?
I know I'm super close to the season assist record. I think I'm about, I want to say 15 away, maybe a little closer. So that's definitely another goal that I want to get my name on the record board. And just finishing the season with my teammates. They all been here for me through it all. So just being able to spend time with them for these last 3 weeks and then going into tournament and hopefully making a good run and ending on a good note. I want to go as far as we can go, win a few championships, and end it on a good note.
Well, that kind of leads me into the next question. I mean, hopefully your fondest memory is raising a Division IV state championship. However,
Right.
what has
right.
been your fondest memory so far?
Probably beating United that both times this year, and now it's kind of balanced out to a 3-way tie in the league, because that's something that hasn't been done in I think 34 years at our school. So being able to share that, even though I kind of wanted to have a outright chance of getting it, but it is what it is. We balanced it out. That's probably one of the biggest memories that I had, other than the sectional championship last year versus JFK. That was a really good moment for us too.
We've talked about your folks. We talked a little bit about Coach, but I mean, there's a special relationship from that standpoint. I mean, he spoke for 30 minutes about you just moments ago in our interview. So, what makes him so special to you? And obviously, he's very different, right, than every other coach out there. But for you, what makes him different? What makes him work for you and the entire program for Southern Local that seemingly
Right.
nobody else has been able to do what he's been able to do and get what you have to come out and be so vibrant?
I think it's just his dedication to everything. He bought into me before I even bought into myself. He was like, "Hey, you want to be the best player here at Southern Local?" And I was like, "Sure." And he's like, "We're going to do everything we can to make you the best player." And he actually stuck to his word. And every day we're doing something to get me towards those goals. And now I've completed them. So it feels really good to have him there for me. And now he's even going into the youth, and he's having me as a role model to them, and they're all loving basketball. They're wanting to get better. And now the generations to come, it's just going to be really good. Coach has really changed the program here at Southern, and I'm super thankful for him.
All right. So now we can get real. Now that we got the shine kind of taken for Coach Scrinjar, the suit game. Talk to me about what you and the other ladies think about the suits and the craziness that comes with Coach Scrinjar.
I don't even know what he's thinking when he puts that on. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. He doesn't care if it's too small. He doesn't care if he doesn't have socks on. We make fun of him. He's just keep making fun of me. I don't care. And he just keeps wearing it. So it's just,
I was going to ask you, does he ever wear socks?
Sometimes, but most of the time, no. If he does, it's the short ankle socks that you can barely see.
I love it. So. I love it. Are you getting your fashion tips from Coach Scrinjar?
No, absolutely not.
Ashley, I can't thank you enough for spending some time with us today. You certainly are well on your way to being not only a great competitor, a great basketball player, a student athlete that has her name all littered over all record books, but certainly an even better young woman that is going to make a big impact on this world. I can't thank you enough for your time today. Thank you so much. Best of luck to you, and congratulations on all your success.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Helps when you unmute yourself. It's the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Visit them today, DickeyElectric.com. All right, there was no show yesterday. There's a big reason for that. It was my birthday. 39 years old, 39 trips around this God-blessed sun that is shining today here on February 6th, 2024. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord. I got to just – first, the good stuff, right? So unbelievable. And I've said this before on this show, and I'll say it again to whoever will listen. Facebook, social media gets a lot of axes in the side of it, right? Everybody chopping it down. It can be a very, very powerful thing from a negative perspective. But I will say this, on your birthday, it can be so overwhelmingly positive. And yesterday was that way for me. And I cannot thank literally, I'll get into that in a second. I cannot thank people enough for just saying happy birthday, just for a second of their day to say happy birthday, to think of you, to think of me on that particular day and that particular moment means so much. It means so much. And I think it means more every year with some of the journeys that you are able to unfold in other people's lives. And while there was I want to say literally a ton, but I think we didn't get there one day. But I try to, and this is a pet peeve of mine. Coach Skringer talked about his pet peeves. One of my pet peeves is when people don't respond individually. If someone takes a minute out of their time, you can take a minute out of yours. Now, the problem is when you have 600, 700 people taking a minute, that's going to cost you 600, 700 minutes, which is going to add up real quick. But Facebook, I'm looking at you, Mark Zuckerberg. Facebook saw that I was thanking all these people in like, if I had 20 minutes, I'm doing it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Reading every one of them, thanking every one of them, trying to make it personal. Facebook thought I was spamming people, so they put me in Facebook jail. I had to, excuse me, I had to appeal to get out of Facebook jail. And then I went and said thank you again to about 30, 40 more people, put me back into Facebook jail, got out of Facebook jail, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to test this a third time. So for all the good of that moment, it was kind of, they rained on my parade a little bit, did Facebook. And what I would like to do is ask the question to the Facebook folk, how can you, like, you see me spamming, saying thank you, but all these weird links that you put all over our YSN page and you put over everybody else's page for games that don't exist, or they do exist and the links go somewhere I don't even want to know where they go. You can't get those folks to stop doing that, but I can't say thank you. Ridiculous, crazy, insane. But that is that's a hill to die on another day. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for tuning into today's show. Cannot thank you enough. Coach Skrinjar, an unbelievable interview. Opened up a little bit. You got a little taste of what everybody else gets. And of course, we want to thank Ashley Schroeds, who she is one of one, folks. She's one of one. She is a unique individual who is going to do great things on this planet outside of basketball. But gosh, is it fun to watch her play? Is it fun to watch her play? And you can do it right here on YSN. So thanks to those two for joining the show. If a college coach is out there and you're looking for someone that's going to put her heart and soul into your basketball program, look no further than Ashley Schroeds. Incredible shooter, takes everything personally, works on every aspect of her game, and you're getting a great young lady in a great opportunity to help your program over the long haul. So there it is. Go contact her. Great student as well, so you don't have to worry about her grades. That's going to do it for our show today. Again, thanks to Coach Skrinjar, Ashley Schroeds. Thanks to you. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to our friends at Toyota of Warren. As always, and we will see you tomorrow. Scotty on the show tomorrow, 3 o'clock right here on the network. Peace. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of